Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Welcome to the show where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs. It's your host, Steven Schmidt, and I'm back at it like a bad habit. And I got a really cool treat for you guys here in the studio today. I'm interviewing Randy Shelley. He reigns out from the great state of Tennessee, out in Chattanooga, in a subsection of Chattanooga that he told me how to pronounce, and I already forgot. So we're just going to go with Chattanooga for today. Randy is in the hard money lending space. He also has built an absolutely dynamic real estate portfolio in the apartment space as well as storage. So we're going to get into a great conversation today. Before we do that, just keep in mind at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses so they can build the businesses they've always wanted in order to live the lives they've always dreamed of. With that being said, Randy, welcome to the show this afternoon.
Thanks, man.
Glad to have you on. Let me ask you this, because we had a great conversation before we got recording. And for the context of our listeners, could you give us a little bit of insights on how you got started in the space? What did that look like? And then how did you get to where you're at today? How has things evolved for you to where you're at now?
Going all the way back, I got a civil engineering degree from Tennessee Tech. Did that for 2 years. Was listening to Dave Ramsey at the time. He suggested Rich Dad Poor Dad. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Got laid off, went into real estate. So I've been doing that since 2008. So I kind of, when I got into it, I saw a lot of people, the big guys going down at the time. It was really hard to find in like money. Back then, it was easy to find deals. It's almost flipped nowadays on that end.
Right.
But go ahead, what?
Oh, I was just saying, right.
Yeah. So just started wholesaling originally. Then I was always pretty good at raising private capital. So then raised some private capital, bought my first rental, no money down. Bought my first rehab, no money down. And just kind of built that up to where, well, when I was wholesaling, I got hooked up with a guy buying off the courthouse steps. He had some of his own capital where he was just buying cash and then reselling. So just kind of, I guess that wholesaling or whatever. This is back, 2009. So eventually I had sold him a few houses. I was selling a lot of houses for him to my buyers, just in the wholesale side. We started doing more deals, so we wound up partnering, and we started a pretty big flipping business. So that kind of led up into where we brought on another partner later on, but we had like in 2017, we had like 36 houses going at one time. And I just kind of got burnt out, and our spreads when we ramped up started dropping. So, on average, when we first started, if you gave me 100 grand in private money, I could make about 50 grand in profit on that money. when we ramped up, we were doing rehabs and we would do a $40,000 rehab and sometimes make 10 to 15. And it just seemed like the risk wasn't worth the reward because I was the one mainly lining up all the capital and everything else. So that kind of led me into the hard money lending business. And I started that in 2017, and that's kind of what, I'm doing primarily today.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
In that time, I opened up a property management company with two other people. I got bought out of that. And then also got into self-storage and rentals. Always had single family houses, and that just led me into bigger and bigger stuff. How I did all that, mainly acquire it with private money and do the birth. Essentially, buy, fix, rehab, a refinance, and then do it again. So
Now, just so I can put some pieces of this puzzle together here, you talk about how you had a really successful flipping business where you guys were ramping up and doing a ton of projects at a single time. But you also, and I'll let you say the number if you so desire, but you also have quite a few doors in the long-term rental space from what it sounds like based on our earlier conversation. So at what point did that factor into the flipping business? Were you doing that in tandem to it, or did that come after once you got into the hard money space?
the single families, yes. That the key to where I shifted in 2017 kind of led me into the bigger stuff. We had bought a few smaller apartment buildings, but after like we split up the partnership of the flipping business, I took the hard money lending business myself, but I kept my partner that was still acquisitions off the courthouse steps. Through that, we had bought a big warehouse. It was like 50,000 square foot warehouse. We didn't even get into it. I mean, it was a risky deal. But we bought that for like $1 million, and then 6 months later sold it for 1.9. And then because we bought it with the intent to keep it, we had a tenant move out in the meantime. We could 1031 that, and we 1031 that into one of the larger apartment buildings that I bought, which was a 48 unit here in Chattanooga, which led me to another 32 unit, which led me to 372 doors we bought as a acquisition, which kind of one thing led to the next. And it was the kind of the same with storage. I think I forgot what year we started in storage, but it was around the 2000 range. It's like just 2000 to 2002. We acquired 1,200 doors of storage. So um, it just I've always been the type that just takes massive action. Even when we were doing a lot of wholesaling back in the day, we were wholesaling 40 houses a year, and I've just got a hustle factor, and when I want to go in a certain direction, I go with it. And in 2017, I just got tired of doing a lot of single family houses, and it was a way for us to scale bigger, quicker. That was it.
Yeah. I love how you explain that so nonchalant too. You're like, so what happened was, good grief, that's amazing. So on the note of massive action, because I think this is the kicker for a lot of people, because we only have so much time, and you I guess on one hand it probably didn't feel like a luxury back then, but when you got laid off from your job or left that position as a civil engineer, you kind of only had one path to go, didn't you?
Burn the boats, baby.
Yeah, no kidding. So you also only have 24 hours in a day just like everybody else. So when you talk about massive action, How much of that came from personal effort versus also putting people in the right places as far as like a team structure goes for you to be able to do more with the leverage of other people's time as well?
I did not do that till later on, other than partners. I had several
Really?
partners early on, even in the wholesaling business. And I've always been, I guess, kind of good at picking I always pick partners with very different personalities than I've got. That way you're bringing different things to the equation and the team. So I don't know if that's just a natural ability or what, but I've always had a pretty good track record with that. But then team wise, it's now that we had employees under the property management business. I've got just a few employees under the hard money lending business. It is key. I can't say that I was great at that early on, but and even now you make mistakes. I today just had a property management company quit, which we were about to fire them anyway. So it's not like I've got a perfect track record on picking, perfect people and everything else, but you just do the best you can with what you got. And, you need to grow in your leadership.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
If you grow in your leadership, you'll grow in how you interact with other people and have, there's a book called Crucial Conversations. You got to have key conversations, whether it be in a partnership or with employees, to really get down to, the results, to move you in a direction to get you to the results that you need to move towards.
Absolutely. With growing a team later on, what are some of the things that you implemented in terms of leadership in order to have a well-oiled machine moving and running in order
The book
to
Traction's got a great system for that. So
yeah. So are you fully integrated with EOS in your current
yeah.
businesses?
The last 2 years, especially, yes. At least in
Nice.
the lending company, yes, 100%. So
It's been such
I,
a buzzword the last 3 or 4 years too. It's like nobody knew what EOS was 5 years ago, and now, at least in the business circles I run in, everybody's all about EOS now.
the bad thing is I waited too long. Dude, I read Traction when probably 6 years ago, and I didn't implement it for years. So, and then you read. I just read another book not too long ago. That's kind of Gino Wickman wrote it. It's the one that came behind Traction, and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this specifically right. I'm not doing this specifically right. But it is great for getting traction in your business. It like that system works. So.
Mm. And that's what allows you to take time off and go chase your kids around the country, right?
Yeah, well, we're on a 2 month. Right now, I'm in my buddy's basement in Indiana, but last year we went up the entire West Coast from like San Diego to Whistler, Canada, in the RV, and we bought a A RV like 3 years ago. But I've been doing this for 3 years. But I heard you got magic times with kids from like 6 to 12. Is what I heard from other people that's older than me. So I was just like, well, we're going to just take off the whole summer, even if it's a sacrifice to my business, that's fine. And we are going to just take off for It's been almost 2.5 months last year, and it'll be a little over 2 months and a week, or actually 2 months and 2 weeks this year. But we're going up the East Coast this year. We just kicked in all of a sudden to visit some friends here in Indiana, and then we're going to make our way all the way up to Maine and everything else. But yeah,
That's awesome. Do you think you're a good salesperson?
I'm good at selling the things I'm passionate about. Yes.
What do you think makes somebody a good salesperson, especially in the real estate space?
Confidence, believing in yourself. you can learn skills to make you better, definitely. In some of the oh, who's that like FBI negotiator guy? He's got some great
It's not Voss, is it? I know
yeah,
exactly.
the boss. Yeah. So
Rich Voss
he's
or
got
something.
some great stuff on, interactions and sometimes it's just you got to know the other person's personality pretty quick, and kind of who you're talking to. If you're talking to a very analytical person, you're very, you talk to everybody differently depending on what their personality type is. But those are some skills you can learn. They're skill side, but then I think more than anything is the confidence and just belief in your product or what you got for that. But yeah, I think I'm a pretty good salesman. So
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Love that. Yeah, I always, anytime somebody does some big things, I mean, realistically, if you go back to the wholesaling and the flipping side of the business, it's a little bit different of a sale because you're not necessarily selling something to somebody other than the idea of you taking a property off their hands, right? So it's a kind of a unique sell in my opinion. But at the same time, you don't have any properties to go flip if you can't find the properties. And ultimately, there's a lot of different ways to do that. But go ahead.
I'm
Look
not
like
the
you're going to say something.
greatest. I'm gonna say I'm not the. I was never the greatest with that. Where I really thrived in the wholesaling business was really on the dispositions,
Mm,
because we would either get stuff off the courthouse steps. I had a lot of other wholesalers that were bringing deals to me. Um, now I bought a bunch myself, just direct from seller, but I would say that I'm not the best direct to seller type person for that. I was always probably better at dispositions and raising money. So
that makes sense. So there's your area of expertise. So now, when you started Mission Funding, which is the name of the company for your lending, right? Uh,
yep.
Anytime somebody has a name like Mission, why'd you pick that name for one? Out of curiosity.
To start off, we haven't had it that long. We started off
Okay.
Chattanooga funding, and
Okay.
we DBA'd. I bought a website. I feel like I paid too much, but I paid like $5,000 for admission funding because I had the guy that I hired to run my lending company. w- I knew that we needed to rebrand because I didn't always want to be Chattanooga Funding. And two, we went through a bunch of different names, and that's the only name that I was just like, I really like that. Domain was for sale. I was just like, let's pull the trigger and do it. So, and then I start, so it's the same company that Chattanooga Funding was. I just changed the name, and I love the name because it kind of aligns with everything I do. So.
And talk a little bit on that. When you say it aligns with everything you do, what is the mission of Mission?
Actually, I should have it memorized. Actually, let me. I'm going to pull up actually our traction thing. I should have this memorized,
I
so I
love it.
apologize that I don't, but I got it
You're
right here.
good. By the way, $5,000. That's not too bad for a website. I have a marketing background, so
Yeah,
that's not too
it's more
bad.
than I've
If
ever paid before for something. But our purpose, our cause, our passion to help people grow their wealth by funding lucrative investments that improve our community. Our niche to provide fast, experienced, creative deal structuring to grow our clients' wealth. That comes
there you
straight from
go.
traction. And I should have that memorized, that I didn't. So
That's all right. You're gonna have it memorized the next time somebody asks you. I bet you dollars to donuts. You got put on the spot on air. Oh no. So let me ask you this: you've created some pretty massive success for yourself and other people, in which you're still currently doing. What does the next 12 to 18 months really look like for you? And I want to frame this question in a way that maybe is a little bit different than how someone would normally ask it. But, it used to be you could plan 5 years out in business. You could plan, pretty far into the future. But now with the changing of information, with AI and everything just rapidly changing, you can't plan, in my opinion, for more than 18 months, especially market volatility, everything all factored in. So like the next 12 to 18 months, what's the real big focus for you in business or life in general?
So we read, this is probably goes back a year. And I'm actually reread. I actually just finished it today again for the second time. But 10x is easier than 2x. Great book. So with that, I think we had, this might be going back a year and a half. We had 7.5 million on the street. So to 10x that would be 75 million on the street. So that we put that as our 10-year goal. Actually, I'll take it back. We did this 2 years ago because I'm looking at it right now. So our goal was to eventually get to 75 million on the street, in the lending business. So I'm passionate about growing that. I see with all these banks tightening up, and there's a bigger opportunity than probably I've seen before to grow the lending business because everybody is tightening up. Um, and we've done really well. I think the reason we've done so well, though, is because I had a huge flipping background before I ever got into the lending business. So our default rate is like less than 2%. It's actually 1% and something, which is, below the national average. But if you look back, even on our defaults, we've only lost money on one deal out of, we're probably approaching 350 loans now. So I'll take that all day long. Even though we've took back some on defaults, we've only lost on one. So I'll take that track record all day long. So, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your original question or not. What was your original question? Sorry, I might have got off track there.
The original question was, what does growth look like for you in the next 12 to 18 months?
I want to grow. So we had planned to put 18 million on the street.
Okay. And one of the things that you've brought up several times, you've brought up multiple books, so I can tell that personal development, education is obviously a big thing for you. Are you an avid reader? Is that your only avenue of getting new or refreshing on old information that's then still applicable today? Or what do you do to educate yourself with things changing so rapidly?
YouTube, Audible. I've been in some high level masterminds before. Um, YouTube and Audible are the things that I'm probably the most consistent at. So I'm not a big sit down and read a book type person, but I can listen, especially driving the RV or something, we'll have a 4 hour drive or something like that. So you can get through a book in 4 hours.
Right.
I've interrupted, it's windshield time, but the best, I look back and, I've always been good at, not, sometimes not, but not listen to the radio and listen to books and listen to tons of YouTube stuff, get a YouTube premium account and turn it on twice the speed. That's what to do with Audible too. And dude, you can get through some books. So,
Yeah, I'm the same exact way. I listen to primarily podcasts is my avenue, but yeah, everything in 2x speed. It's interesting because I think over the last decade of me really diving into my own self-development, I used to be able to do 1x and then it was like 1.5 and now it's like I can't, they're not speaking fast enough for me to consume the information. So it's almost like I retain more when it is going faster.
yeah.
Which
Now,
means
there's some people that talk really fast, and I do have turned them down to like maybe 1.5, but most of the
yeah,
time, too, it works really well. So,
sure. Why is the education piece so important to what you're doing? I mean, if you've already got some things figured out, why keep educating?
because it's in your leadership. If you're not growing, you're not going to be able to go to the next level.
Mm.
If you're not a constant student, you are going to hit a ceiling and plateau yourself and not be able to move past that.
Totally agree. If you had to go back to when you started, but you could take all of the knowledge that you've gained over the last 2 decades, let's call it, what would you do different and what would you do the same with the knowledge that you have today?
Go bigger, quicker. Um, Relationships are crucial in a sense of like I've had these same people lending to me probably for over 16 years now. Um, I've made them a lot of money over the years. But they're just really good people. I would say most of the time they're just people that were really good business people that just wanted to get a passive return on their investment. So the relationships, if I could change anything about myself, I would want to be a better connector and really, as soon as I meet somebody, follow up and somebody that's like, that I see as significant or whatever, do a better job following up and everything else. I think that's where I probably don't do the best job. And then, when I'm traveling, it's I need to probably grow in that area. But man, if I had to go back with what I know, just go bigger, quicker, because too many people have this limited thinking and they're stuck in their own box. And I don't know if you're familiar. Bill Cook, he used to be out of Cartersville, Georgia. He moved to down to Florida, but he does this thing called What Box, and it was from another guy. But essentially, everybody has a box. And I was giving Bill heck on a real estate cruise a while back because I'm like, he's got a residential box, and this is his box, and he thinks that this is the box. And you can do commercial. There's so many other things that you can do, and you can go. I know some guys that the one of the biggest hard money lenders I know is out of Houston. He's got like 176 million on the street and I went to his house for a mastermind, and he was like, "Why don't you have 60 million out?" And he's like, "I know guys with less talent than you that's got more, but it's not all about how much you have on the street. It's how well you run your business. There's management is so crucial, especially if you want to live a lifestyle of where you can travel too much and everything else. Management, people, systems are so crucial for that to grow well and keep everything running extremely well while you're gone. So maybe the other side of that is the people side. Hire people quicker, go bigger quicker.
So it was a two-part question of what would you do different, what would you do the same, but I I like that answer a ton, and I want to ask a follow-up to it instead of you telling me what you would do the same. And that would be if you were to go bigger, faster, knowing what you know today, how would you actually do that if you went back to the beginning?
It depends on what area you're asking me. Are you asking me with lending? Are you asking me with rental property?
Well, if you weren't to keep the same timeline, right? Because obviously you had an evolution within your business. So in general, you say so. I guess it would be best for us to define what does go bigger, faster mean. What does bigger mean if you were to do that?
I just know when with the real estate, like with my local, I was buying back all the way to 2009 these single family rentals, and these single family rentals were great cash flow. Actually, they're still great cash flow for many years, but I held on to them, and then it really started happening in 2018. But holy crap, from 2020 to 2021 and 2. I saw more appreciation than I've seen in my whole life. And part of that, it might be with all the influx of dollars that got put into the economy. But I had houses that, I bought for 30,000 that are now worth like 250,000. I'm just like, holy crap. I saw like in Chattanooga, it was almost like a 2.5x to 3x within just 1 year. And it happened in Nashville before it happened here, but it was crazy. So that's one house. What if you had 100 of those, or apartment building or something else, and you have that multiply factor? That multiply factor is way more, on when I say bigger, the most people's limitation are just around what limits them on what they think they can do. So I would say try to change your thing. I mean, Trump talks about it a lot, the art of thinking big or whatever. Or actually, I don't know. Yeah, art of deal. But he's always like a big thinker. He's always like, whatever. Here's the line. Let's go over here and try to do bigger. So too many people limit themselves, and you really need to get out. Sometimes you need to get challenged more to go bigger. And here's the thing, I respect too the other side of it. There's something to having a very simple life, having all your needs met, and living a very simple life. And I had some conflict there, because I feel like sometimes maybe I should just sell off a bunch. I could have retired when I was 34. One, I would be bored to freaking death. So what's the point in that? Two, I really, if you enjoy what you do, why wouldn't you work until you die? Like, but you can choose how you work. You can take off for 2 months. You can do a lot more traveling. You don't have to. I don't get people that want to retire. That usually means you don't like what you do.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that. What I say for myself personally, even, is that I want to have the option to experience everything life has to offer. But if I was to stop working, what would I do? Like,
Would be bored to death.
yeah, I mean, there's only so many go karts you can run around a track, and so much fishing you can do, and so much. I mean, it's like, love to do all those things, whatever. But at the same time, I think there's a greater impact, and I think we have purpose when we have work. Right now, that work might change. Right, for me, when I'm 70, hopefully that's just philanthropy and giving back to younger generations coming along. You know what I mean? Hopefully, I'm not sweeping floors at Walmart or anything.
You can choose your way. Yeah, and I always
But
want to be able to choose my work. So,
exactly,
but
exactly, for sure,
but I mean, if you
certainly.
love what I haven't had to work for a long time. So, and hopefully, that lasts the rest of my life. But when you do what you love, it's not really work. It's more fun. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, Randy, where can these fine folks connect with you for more, learn more about what you're working on, and find out more about you?
Anybody that's looking to invest passively, we've got a debt fund, Mission Funding Capital. We're out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. You can just call me directly. 423-665-5555 is my cell. Or you can just email me at randy@missionfunding.com. But yeah, we're looking to grow that. We only You'll have some people that call me up for funding. We only lend in about a 45-minute circle around my office in Chattanooga. It's just very easy for us to manage that. We got a little over 12 million over. We actually, I think we passed probably 12.5 million on the street just recently. But I'm looking to grow that to, I think I can easily put probably 25 million on the street before we had to go to a different city. So we're just a regional lender. We're not the big boys that are nationwide or anything else. But yeah, looking just to grow that. So if you're interested in passive income or that and putting it with a good operator, I'll be glad to talk to you.
There you go, folks. Connect with them for more. And when's your book coming out?
I don't, I've thought about writing a book, but I don't know. I'd have to get with a, I don't know. That's a good challenge for me. I
You
like,
talked
honestly,
about challenges. I was like, you need a book, man.
I like that. I like that. But honestly, I'd rather do I'm not known in the podcast world because I don't try. I tried a little bit for a little while, doing one at my office, but I'm not that consistent with it. But I do love these conversations. Love talking real, if you want to get me talking all day, bring up real estate or guns or something like that, I'm good to go to talk all day. So,
You bet.
so
I'll give you some. I'll give you some secrets after we hop off here. But folks, I hope you enjoyed today's show, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks again for being here, Randy.
thanks.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.